the longest road less traveled. So when you are, let's say, on a spiritual healing journey for yourself, in the journey of awakening the heart, it's a time of loads of confusion. Like you're trying to follow your calling, you're trying to follow your downloads that you might be receiving when you are in solitude. In times, this journey can feel very, very isolating. But like within your solitude, when you are within your own space, that's really where you find your creative impulses, and that's the journey that you must on. It's not a journey for the faint-hearted. It's a very challenging journey that not many really people are willing to travel, because most people they are kind of like in their own survival modes and are highly dependent on others in order to do well. Of course, it's within our nature, in our human nature, to do such thing. But to travel on a road in order to find your true calling in life is to move away from the mundane. It's to move away from what everybody else is doing. And yes, still in a certain degree, and I must admit, we are all trying to live a normal human life. Perhaps many of us, we are just trying to have a normal, regular job that provides us in paying the bills and all of it. Have rent to pay, have bills to pay, and all of it. But one part of it, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right because you just know it's kind of like a form of slavery. You're just exchanging your time, life force energy for an income just to pay the bills. Just to put a roof above your head and just to pay for food, and all of it is like within the deepest cell of your being that just isn't really for you. You're not for the mundane. So even you try like other kind of work or jobs or careers that isn't really that mundane as the normal 9 to 5, but still doing things, working in a kind of environment that is not really in line with your inner values, with your heart desires, your calling, with your insights, with your inspirations. But yet it's a part of it. It's not like separated, perhaps it's part of the journey. But nonetheless, some days you can feel high, uplifted, inspired, empowered, and all of these beautiful things until the alarm clock kicks in at 4 a.m. in the morning. And you just had 5 hours of sleep, and there you are, ready to go to conquer the day. You might be finishing off at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, coming home feeling drained, tired, exhausted. Do this 2 or 3 times a week, and your energy levels are depleted. You feel drained, you feel exhausted, you have nothing left. The cup is empty. But you must go on, because you're not really meant for a normal mundane job in this world. You're meant for something bigger. You feel like there's a higher calling waiting for you. And that's really what you're trying to follow. Like following a red thread in your life. Breadcrumbs. And although the road is very unclear, it's very confusing, and although you might try to find a level of logic into it, the logic doesn't really seem to line up with the things that you feel called to do. And how more you align kind of with your calling, it often feels like you're all alone on a tiny little sailboat at the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, stuck in a foggy weather, cloudy condition with no winds in your sails, and therefore you not really feel you're moving ahead. Yet for some way you feel the strength to start using your pedals, start pedaling, trying to use brute force and strength that will get you out of these cloudy conditions, and you can't see the next 1 meter ahead of you. You don't know if there is any shore ahead. You don't know if there are any obstacles ahead you can't see, but you keep pushing, you keep pushing, you keep pushing, trying to have faith in your calling, trying to have faith in what you believe. So using your strength and brute force will get you a little bit out of this cloudy conditions. And you might know where you came from based on a far distant memory that you still carry within you, but you can't really see that much. But perhaps if you look a little bit further and deeper in your memory, you could see where you have been last year and where you currently are at. And although where you're currently at is still in a place of confusion, fear, anxiety, stress, worry, whether you're doing the right thing or not, or you're just really like pouring your time and energy down the drain like a little drop of water in a desert, or you're more like a grain of sand that you're throwing out on the ocean. But still you try to keep going. You use your fighter spirit, your warrior spirit to push through. Perhaps there you might find a little bit of light coming in through the clouds into foggy weatherness, and these new rays of light, these new beams of light, it's kind of like warming up your skin. It is kind of like giving you new hope. It's giving you new inspiration, and that is really what you must continue to follow. So the long journey, the long, less traveled path that not really many people are willing to travel, because most people, they are going through the things that gives them the highest level and fastest ways to joy and stimulation and all of it, but it's still like not really fulfilling. But they believe that is really what they must do in order to kind of like fit in, to be accepted within nowadays norms. But nowadays norms kind of feels like a degrading standard for you, and you want to raise your standard. You want to expand your level of understanding of the world we live in, of your own understanding of who you are as a human being. You want to raise your awareness, self-concept. You want to be a leader of reawakening the heart consciousness. And although it might find it is like a very confusing journey, it is the journey that you must travel. It's a journey where you experience lots of loneliness, isolation, and although it's not really loneliness, it's the isolation and the solitude where you will be inspired to do your work, away from the noise and the distractions from other people. It's not like other people are not less than you or they are more ahead of you. They are just on their own journey. But for you, what's most important is to find your journey, is to be able to teach from your scars and not from your wounds. Your wounds have to become the scar, so you become the teacher who you are meant to be. And that's only when you are willing to trust this process of pedaling forward, where the clouds are disappearing and where new winds of inspiration may enter the sails of your sailboat. And that's eventually where we can find some sort of momentum, and although it doesn't really reflect in the external world, but it feels like a momentum for yourself. Momentum of building up your creative impulses and creative outputs. And that eventually in the long term will help you to cross this ocean and will get you to new destinations of unexplored land, uncharted land for yourself. And that's really like the journey of the soul that not really many people are willing to travel. And that's why it's the road less traveled, and it sometimes also feels like an eternity.